Why South Africa is still so unequal, and what can really change it. Nearly 30 years after the end of apartheid, South Africa is still one of the most unequal societies in the world. Most of this inequality still follows the color line between black and white South Africans. In this video, we'll look at the real numbers behind the inequality, why it persists, what fair solutions could look like, from land reform to training and industry growth, and why depending on international aid can keep the cycle of poverty alive. South Africa's Gini coefficient, which measures income inequality, was about 0.63 in 2024, among the highest in the world. Black South Africans, about 80% of the population, own less than 10% of the country's wealth, while white South Africans, about 8% of the population, still control 75% of private farmland and a big share of corporate assets. In terms of the average monthly income in 2023, Black South Africans were making approximately 7,500 rands, or about $400 US currency, while white South Africans were making 24,000 rands, about 1,300 US dollars. In terms of unemployment, the national average is sitting at approximately 32%, with Black South Africans being up to 37% unemployed, while white South African statistics sit at below 9%. In terms of poverty, over 55% of Black South Africans live below the poverty line, while less than 1% of white South Africans live below the poverty line. These are more than numbers. They are the living legacy of how apartheid built an unequal society by design. Apartheid wasn't just separation, it was systemic exclusion. The 1913 Land Act confined Black people to just 7% of the land, later expanded slightly to 13% homelands. By 1994, over 80% of the land was still in white hands. In terms of education, under apartheid, Black South Africans were forced into Bantu education systems, designed not to produce professionals but manual laborers, indentured servants. Schools were overcrowded, underfunded, and taught mostly rote skills. A rote skill is a skill learned through repetition and memorization, often without a deep understanding of the underlying principles. It's about memorizing information exactly as it is presented, focusing on recall rather than comprehension. Examples include memorizing the alphabet, multiplication tables, or song lyrics. This resulted in the 1976 Soweto uprising. It was sparked when Black students were forced to learn in Afrikaans. Hundreds were killed, thousands were wounded. The uprising symbolized a rejection of an education system that locked Black South Africans into low-wage jobs. And the legacy has been that many Black schools today still lack resources, have bigger classes, and porous facilities. This affects job prospects, many black youth remain underqualified for higher paying industries. Land redistribution and farming's role. Land redistribution isn't just about justice, it's about economic opportunity. Today, up to 75% of farmland remains white-owned. Since 1994, only about 10% of the commercial farmland has been redistributed, well below the 30% target. Considering only 8% of the population owns all that land. Farming and the economy directly contributes about 2 to 3% of the gross domestic product, supporting 900,000 jobs directly, and more in logistics, exports, and retail. South Africa is a major exporter of citrus, wine, maize, and nuts globally. There is an opportunity for Black South Africans. If they can get land, training, access to markets, credit, and irrigation, farming could create wealth, especially in rural communities. It could lift families out of poverty and increase food security as well as exports. Beyond farming, there are other industries that can close the wealth gap. Mining is one, contributing 8% of the GDP and over 450,000 jobs. Black ownership has grown thanks to the Black Economic Empowerment, or BEE, but gaps remain. Another industry is manufacturing, which contributes up to 12% of the GDP. It's key to absorbing large numbers of young job seekers. Then we get tourism, which contributes approximately 3% of the GDP, and much higher when indirect jobs are considered. Black entrepreneurs in tourism can create jobs, especially in rural and township areas. Then there's renewable energy and tech, and this sector is growing fast globally. Black youth trained in solar installation, coding, and data analysis can access better paying jobs. In terms of education and training, quality education transforms everything. Investing in teacher training, infrastructure, and curriculum reform can help Black students qualify for technical and professional jobs. It can also reduce the dropout rates and boost entrepreneurship. Vocational training for trade, IT, and manufacturing can directly reduce unemployment among Black youth. Now for international aid. South Africa receives hundreds of millions of dollars each year, approximately 1 billion annually, in development aid, health programs like HIV and AIDS treatment, and in skills training. While aid saves lives, it can also create dependency if local industries aren't growing. To build a fair economy, South Africa must grow its own tax base, support Black-owned enterprises, and invest in local innovation and education. So what could fairness look like? Inequality in South Africa is deep, and it didn't start by accident. Real change means land reform, real investment in Black businesses, better schools, and skills for the future. And it means moving from aid dependency to homegrown solutions. What do you think works best? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.